you have this story in your head of what your husband maybe intended. I would go back to polyvagal theory. What that tells me, because story follows state, there's already an internalized sense of anxiety or fear attached to that. I'm going to interpret this based on my past experience and what that would have meant for me then. The state of being already maybe anxious or avoidant in relationships is there because of these past experiences that is going to obviously color our interpretation of those interactions and the story that we create around that. When we're thinking about a fear of abandonment, we're recognizing that there's a part of us that experienced that early in life that's sort of at the forefront. It's the one having these big reactions to cues of danger or threat in the relationship. And as a result, it's going to react based on what was necessary for it, what protective strategies got developed early on, which is, well, fine, I don't need you anyway, or how dare you, talk to me that way, or say that to me, or, see, there you are, you're just trying to start a fight or whatever. Like the reactivity is coming from those protective parts that have that fear of abandonment and try to help us manage it in whatever way was developed early on. Integrating that parts work with EMDR, we might target that particular part that has that story attached to it. And we could do maybe a float back as a process in which we identify the belief that creates that story. Like, I'm too much. If I'm worried about people abandoning me because I'm too much, because my needs are too much, then we would identify the emotions that are attached to that and the body sensations. And then we would ask the client to float back in time and start to identify earlier times where they felt similarly. We ideally want to get to worst experience of it or the earliest experience of it because it's stored in a memory network. And if we can get to the worst or the earliest, then we have a better chance of clearing out some of the other later experiences that affirmed that. That would just be information for me to start exploring with the client. Let's get to know that part that has that story attached to it. When my husband says this, what I feel is him pulling away or him criticizing me or whatever, that sense of abandonment that comes from that triggers that feeling of abandonment. We would explore that and then we would try to identify earlier memories that might have contributed to that belief getting formed and that behavior of picking a fight or whatever I might do when I feel that fear of abandonment.